Well, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, anyone and everyone. I appreciate you joining us today. This is We Are the Game. I'm Luke, and that's Michael, and we're going to get into some talking about the Cowboys today and their game upcoming Week 4 against the Green Bay Packers. Sunday Night Football should be very interesting. Hopefully, it'll be very interesting. I think people have been circling this date in their calendars ever since a certain trade happened. So, I'm sure we'll touch on that at some point in this conversation. But yeah, you ready to get into this, Michael?
Absolutely.
All right. Well, cool. Well, let's get started in the big question for Dallas. Like, what do they have to do to win this game? What's the focus? What's the number one thing if you could pick? It was like just do this thing well and we'll win this game. What would that be?
Well, I think everybody's talked ad nauseum about our secondary and the shortcomings that is our secondary, especially with the long ball. We have given up some of the most incredible plays deep to every team who will show up at our door. And given Jordan the opportunity, he would love to participate in this very battle. Um, One of the things that I think that will impact that part has been injuries, and injuries will play a huge part of this game overall. Deron Bland has been out since the first game, where we looked, I thought, pretty good. We held Devontae Smith and AJ Brown to minimal production. Then Bland went out. It seemed like we really kind of fell apart. I think we have. It looks like we're going to have everyone back now. How healthy is another question, but still, that at least should be encouraging in the right direction. I think schematically, we've got to change things in our scheme to protect more against that, even if we have to give up shorter yardage somewhere else. So that'll be a big part of it. The other kind of part with that is we've got to get pressure on the quarterback. I think we've gotten a lot out of our defensive tackles, Digizua and Kenny Clark. They've been great at stopping the run and even passively producing some pressure, but we really need some scheme help, I believe, to get more pressure on the quarterback and keep them from having all day. Jordan will tear us apart with you and me as the wide receivers. He would tear us apart given enough time. So I think that's really, as I see it, the number one thing we've got to do is adjust our defense to take away the long ball and make them play a more mid game.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. Hopefully, it's not just a completely broken problem. This deep passing game, and it's something you could adjust to schematically. And I assume that it is. You know, you just have your safeties take 3 steps back every game or something. I don't know, but probably not that simple. But anyway, so okay. So conversely, what do you need to not happen? Or what's the obvious path for the Packers to win this game if you want to take it from that angle? But what's the thing that the Dallas Cowboys need to avoid more than anything else?
Yeah, I mean, similarly, let's try not to get embarrassed on the long ball with Matthew Golden, Romeo Dobbs, whoever is going to be running down. If I were Green Bay in my first series, that's the first thing I would be looking for, is to try to find a long ball, hit them deep, just crush them right off the bat. That's what I'd be looking for. On defensive side of the ball, they need to apply pressure. Obviously, Micah, he's dinged up. We're not exactly sure how much. I think he was still limited in practice as of yesterday. But him and Rashad Gary, they're going to be coming around hard. And I think that's the other part of their gameplay has got to be forcing Dallas back into that short game that we kind of saw last week where Ferguson had 48 passes or whatever thrown to him. Just tons of passes, which we made some progress on, but it sets us in all these bad third downs. And that's not great. So I think that's kind of what they'll try to do is keep a lot of pressure, and they'll try to hit us long.
Yeah, that makes sense. And I think that if you do just take some steps back and just like, okay, we're not letting you go deep on us, that will open things up over the middle. You might end up into something of a, what do they call it? The bend but don't break defense kind of a thing. So that's kind of just how it goes on one level, but
Yeah.
You'll give up a lot of yards, but hopefully you won't be giving up a lot of touchdowns. So just clinch up in the end zone kind of a thing is what a lot of teams tend to do. So maybe if you don't have him in fantasy, pick up the Green Bay Packers field goal kicker, and then hopefully he'll answer in touchdowns. Did I hear that CeeDee Lamb is expected to miss this game as well? Is that correct?
Yeah. So on offense, that's going to be a big factor for us. Equally, I think it's hard to say equally because CeeDee Lamb is really, really helpful. Cooper Beebe is still out. Our center, he's going to be out for a while. Tyler Booker is not expected to play. He's our right guard. We're definitely going to be playing a backup line, which will have an impact. It kind of all seems to lend itself to a very short game. We're going to need Javonte Williams to keep doing what he's been doing to keep any kind of balance to our offense. I think that's going to play a real role. But then the Green Bay is certainly not on the healthy road either. They have like two of their left guards are injured, so they're going to be playing some backups there. Left tackles similarly. I mean, they're injured pretty much all over on offense and defense both. So I think that will make it a bit of a game to watch and kind of go through.
We'll see. We'll see. Okay. Well, who's a standout player for Dallas, like a guy that you want to see either on the stat sheet or just maybe it's an offensive lineman, so you really don't want to see him on a stat sheet, but whatever it is, like this has got to be the number one guy to show up and play this game. And it could be Dak Prescott, but I'm thinking more of a guy not named Dak Prescott.
Yeah, it's hard for me to not think that Javonte Williams is not that guy. He's been a real impact in the season so far. We really need him to keep that up. I would also be very tempted to say George Pickens. He's had moments in his career where he is the guy. He is the guy, and he's the number one, and you can count on him. You can throw him 12 passes, he's going to catch 10. We really need him to kind of be that guy in this game to take some of the pressure off Ferguson and some of the others. But just kind of, I think those two guys would probably be my pick overall, although the case could be made for any number of our corners or safeties. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think there's the where do you expect it to come from? And then you'd be perfectly fine with it coming from, Deron Bland had an interception and that was great, or anything at all. Yeah. I think one of the most ironic possible players of the game for Dallas would be Kenny Clark. And there's an added like sprinkle of goodness on that one, of course, if it happens. So we'll see. But there are plenty of candidates for step up and really make this happen. So we'll see. We got some playmakers. Okay. Well, tell me about the final. How do you think this is going to end? Score, prediction, all that, win-loss.
Well, how much risk am I willing to take? No, I really see Dallas. I think the most likely scenario is Dallas is on the bottom side of this one. I'd hope the game's close. I'd love to see like a 21-24 kind of a game. Obviously, I'd like to see us on the positive side of that rather than the negative side. I think, and if we really are this healthy and Diggs is back and Bland's back, then I think this game really could come down to one mistake by Jordan Love, and it being a Dallas game. Our offense hasn't looked quite right, so we'll need some of that. But I think that would be my prediction, is that Dallas ends up on the wrong side of this one in a close game. That's my hope.
Yeah,
sort of. I hope we win.
I mean, they're giving Green Bay 6.5 points in Dallas, so they're really thinking it's going to be lopsided. And it may be, of course, any game could be, I suppose, but we'll see. I'd love for y'all to keep it close, and I mean, I'd just love for you to sneak out of there with a win. That'd be good for y'all. But we'll see. So, all right, well, fantastic, man. Well, that's going to wrap this up. Getting into this game coming up Sunday, it's just a couple days away. We really appreciate everyone for joining us today. I'm going to ask y'all now, if you wouldn't mind, please leave us a like and a subscribe. Love for you to join us again. Tell us how wrong we are. Tell us how much the Cowboys suck. Whatever it is you want to do, that's fine. We love talking football, and we'd love to get in this with you again. So until that next time, whenever that may be, I hope you have a fantastic day.